Opening scene. A hyper-realistic shot of a person with a goofy expression in 4K clasping their chest while hiccuping. Have you ever been in the middle of an important presentation or a romantic dinner? And then, out of nowhere, hic. It's loud, it's embarrassing, and it feels like it has no purpose at all. But why do we hiccup? Today, we're going to dive into the bizarre world of hiccups, their origins, science, and some truly weird facts you won't believe. Buckle up, it's going to be unexpected. Scene transitions to a hyper-realistic 4K animation of the diaphragm and lungs working in sync. First things first, hiccups start with your diaphragm. Your diaphragm is a dome-shaped muscle sitting just below your lungs. It's the MVP of breathing, contracting and flattening to pull air into your lungs when you inhale and relaxing to push air out when you exhale. It's muscle multitasking at its finest. But sometimes this efficient muscle gets overexcited, and that's what starts the hiccup train. Quick cut to a comical 4K illustration of the diaphragm spazzing out. When your diaphragm spasms unexpectedly, it sucks air into your throat, quickly and forcefully. This sudden rush of air makes the glottis, the little flap in your throat that controls airflow to your lungs, snap shut. And what does this create? That infamous hic sound that's equal parts adorable and annoying. Scene transitions to a hyper-realistic image of a person drinking soda rapidly, followed by zooming into their diaphragm. So why would an otherwise hard-working muscle like your diaphragm decide to spasm? The reasons range from harmless to, well, downright fascinating. Science shows hiccups can be triggered by eating or drinking too quickly, consuming carbonated beverages like soda, or even laughing too hard. Sometimes they just pop up for what seems like no good reason at all. Mysterious, right? A new 4K animation of a fetus in a womb appears, showcasing rhythmic hiccups. But get this, hiccups aren't unique to adults. Even babies hiccup, sometimes when they're still in the womb. Scientists believe fetal hiccups might be a sort of practice run for developing muscles essential for breathing. It's like a pre-birth workout. Cutest thing ever, right? Scene changes to a 4K historical reenactment of a medieval man holding his chest, hiccuping uncontrollably. Historically, hiccups have had us scratching our heads for centuries. Ancient doctors were baffled by them and even thought they might be a sign of illness or possession by spirits. Don't laugh too much, though. Some ancient cultures tried shocking methods to cure them, like pulling tongues or scaring someone to terrorize their hiccuping away. A funny montage of hiccup remedies appears in hyper-realistic 4K, showing friends scaring each other, people drinking water upside down, and a person eating a spoonful of sugar. Speaking of cures, how do you stop a hiccup? The methods range from quirky to absurd, but some actually work. Gulping water quickly can stimulate your vagus nerve, which essentially tells your diaphragm to calm down. Holding your breath increases carbon dioxide in your body, which can sometimes help reset the diaphragm's behavior. And let's not forget the classic scare tactic, although science isn't quite sure why that might work. Scene transitions to a 4K animation of the brain and diaphragm linked by the vagus nerve. Now let's get scientific for a moment. Did you know your hiccups have a neural component? Your brain and diaphragm have a line of communication called the vagus nerve. If there's a disruption in that communication, say from eating too much spicy food, it can trigger those pesky hiccups. And guess what? If your hiccups don't go away after a few hours, it might be time to see a doctor. Prolonged hiccups can sometimes point to nerve irritation or underlying health conditions that need attention. A fun 4K pop-up fact screen appears. Here's a cool fact. Charles Osborne, who holds the Guinness World Record for the longest episode of hiccuping, couldn't stop hiccuping for 68 years. Imagine that. He counted over 430 million hiccups in his lifetime. And while doctors to this day don't entirely know why some people experience chronic hiccuping, what is clear is that most of our day-to-day hiccups are short-lived and are nothing to worry about. Scene transitions to an illustration of cavemen sitting around eating dinner, accidentally hiccuping. But let's dig deeper. Why do hiccups exist at all? After all, most body functions evolved for a reason, right? Some scientists speculate that hiccuping is an evolutionary leftover from our amphibian ancestors who needed a similar spasm to push water over their gills. Basically, your hiccup is like a fossil in motion, a window into a past you never knew you needed to connect with. Final scene, a montage of animals hiccuping, including a kitten, a monkey, and a bird in glorious 4K resolution. And here's perhaps the cutest revelation of all. Humans aren't the only creatures that hiccup. Cats, dogs, birds, and even frogs have been observed hiccuping. Scientists are still figuring out why, but one thing's certain. Whatever it is, it unites us humans with our furry and feathered friends. Closing shot. A 4K cinematic zoom of the narrator looking at the camera in wonder. So, next time you hiccup, don't be embarrassed. Be amazed. That tiny hic you can't control is a complex dance involving muscles, nerves, your brain, and even a touch of evolution. Oh, and for the record, no. Holding your nose and standing on one foot doesn't really help. Give one of the scientifically backed methods a try instead. Thanks for joining us on this journey to discover why do we hiccup. Until next time, keep wondering and keep discovering. Ensure the expanded voiceover is even more entertaining, but that it maintains the same style, tone, and key points as the original.